Pineapple Pete. I wrote the first line more silliness that the top heel is involved in. This would be great for a manager. It'd be great for a Buddy Landell type in mid-card, mid-south. But the top heel. And Pineapple Pete ain't even Pineapple Pete, but now they've created a Pineapple Pete gimmick and they give him the goofy music and whatever the fuck. And then he gets in the ring in those tights. What do they call it? Skinny fat? He has a rotten body where parts of him are skinny and parts of him are fat at the same time. He's supposed to be a pro wrestler for 15 years. He's been an outlaw guy. Who has he actually wrestled for 15 years? Why have I never heard of this individual?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
All right. Anyway, he flurried Jericho and Jericho hit the Judas 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it was quick and boom. Thanks for coming. But it's just more funniness and silliness and lack of seriousness that your main event guy is involved in. And I'm trying to see as a heel, I'm trying to see a heel in the 90s Attitude Era, a top heel doing this. I'm trying to see Triple H or somebody in DX doing this. It still seems too hokey. I definitely don't see a top babyface like Austin or Rock doing it. Anyway, and then Jericho does the promo and he buried the Elite for not showing up anymore and made the challenge for the Stadium Stampede match. Is this something we're going to have to watch?
This is going to be on the pay-per-view, I believe. And I'm assuming it's going to happen in the stadium that's attached to Daly's place, the one that's owned by the Khans.
Okay, but here's the point I was making on last week's television. They fought for 15 minutes before they got to the stadium, and they did almost nothing in the stadium except run over the guy and fucking pin him on the field. They have actually the entrance to the field. They didn't even go all the way in the stadium. If they were trying to do an angle for a match where it can take place anywhere in the stadium, then they just wasted the 10 minutes of goddamn that they spent getting there through all the concourses and the refreshment stands and the ice machines and the scissors lifts and everything. And they gave the people a Wilder brawl. Well, I won't say that because they'll come up with some bullshit, but they did that. They gave them 15 minutes of fighting to the stadium to sell them having a match at the pay-per-view where they're already fighting in the stadium. They've already given them half the fucking attraction of the thing. If it had been 2 minutes and out, like the Tupelo concession stand brawl, or the fucking Louisville Gardens 8-man fiasco, or whatever we've illustrated, you tease them with something, it's chaos for a couple minutes, people have never seen anything like it, and then you figure out a way to sell the thought that they're going to see much more of it. What more can they see in this fucking, stadium stampede match? Anyway, the drone flies in with the baby shirt. Jericho, the top heel, talks to it like a person. He is starting to come down to their outlaw level rather than bringing them up to his professional level in the 6 months of this program. He talks to it like a person. It accepts their challenge. He then gives it another chance to join the inner circle, the drone, but then says, no, too late. And then he hits the drone with Floyd the baseball bat. And he beats the drone into pieces. And they laugh as Matt Hardy comes out and is heartbroken and clutching his pieces of his drone and clutching his chest and his pearls and his nuts and everything else he can clutch. This is how the heels get heat in 2020. Breaking a drone, and the babyface is legitimately broken up about it. One of the interns slapped the taste out of Don Green's 17-year-old daughter's mouth on live TV, and they got death threats and had people waiting for him at the outskirts of town. The Freebirds blinded JYD so he couldn't see his firstborn baby, and they were pulling guns on him in the arena. Greg Valentine broke Wahoo McDaniel's leg and had to get police escorts out of every town in the Carolinas. And the inner circle takes a baseball bat to Matt Hardy's drone.
You know, for all the good you could say about Chris Jericho, here's something that's not good. He is a guy who needs someone who is serious, who has a concept of the big picture to say no. Because he has some good ideas, but I think he has shown throughout his career and interviews he's done about things that haven't happened, that for every good idea, he has a really, really bad idea. And you're right. He's sinking to the level of the stupidity. And I've said it before that I want an alternative to the WWE style. I don't want their version of WWE wrestling. I don't want a watered-down version of WWE wrestling. I also don't want a bunch of guys who have the attitude of, this is the kind of thing we wish we could do in the WWE, but Vince is standing in our way. I want an alternative to that style completely. I want something that treats me like an adult. I want something that's serious. I want guys who can cut promos that make me believe. I want something that seems more sports-like in that sense. You watch baseball or basketball or football, they don't treat you like you're an idiot. But professional wrestling on TV nowadays does. This wasn't even their version of WWE. This was their version of Impact. And if that sounds like an insult, I mean it as a real big insult here.
Yeah, that's an insult to me, I'll tell you that.
It makes no sense doing this stupid shit. And I think you could learn a lot from the young guys in terms of what works and what doesn't work. Of course, they could also learn a lot from the veterans if they open their eyes and ears. But I think sometimes some people, I'm gonna reserve comment right now. I just think Chris Jericho makes some stupid decisions with what he does, and this does nothing to help the product.
Well, I like Chris, but they have to take the top star seriously, even if the rest of the place is a clown show, and it's just so silly. And you don't believe these guys are really assholes. You believe they're a bunch of guys acting like goofs.